Good Tuesday morning, students. I hope that you guys had a wonderful long weekend. Today in social studies class, we are learning about Hinduism. Hinduism is one of the major world religions that we learn about in 7th grade social studies. So far we've talked about Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So you can see Hinduism is very, very different. So just follow along, and I'll try my best to help you guys with your notes. So the two things that you need today, you need this Google Slides presentation on Hinduism, and then you need your Hinduism notes. In order to be able to type into these, what you need to do is go here to File. After you open the notes, actually, from Google Classroom, you'll go to File, down to Make a Copy. Whenever you hit Make a Copy, a little box will show up. All right. I would just delete Copy of, and then Hinduism notes, and then okay. I'm not going to make an actual copy because I don't need to. So, Hinduism. So these students so far have been like, those people look different. Those people, these are going to be your Brahmin. These are going to be your deities. And we will get to that as we move along through Hinduism. So this is the Hinduism fact sheet. Over on your notes, you'll need to put all these facts. You need to know that it's polytheistic. They believe in more than one God. It is the world's oldest living religion. So archaeologists have uncovered historical artifacts that show that Hinduism dates back to like the Neolithic period, to like 2000 BC. So, and that's how historians rely on information, is the stuff that's actually been found or, dug up from the earth. So it's the world's oldest living religion, meaning it is the oldest that is still practiced today. It is the third largest religion in the world. It comes behind Christianity and Islam. Christianity is the largest religion. Islam comes in second. There is no single founder. So whenever you think about Christianity, which is something we've already learned before, and most of us are familiar with, not everyone, but we think of Abraham, the founder. Remember Abraham, and he had sons, and Moses, and was given the 10 Commandments. So, you could think about these guys as the founder of Judaism, which is which is the religion that Christianity and Islam comes from, is Judaism. So, but for Hinduism, there is no single founder. Or just like Islam, Muhammad is kind of like the founder as well. He was the prophet who received the message. So, but Hinduism, there is no single founder. Sacred texts include the Vedas, the Upanishads, and the Bhagavad Gita. I know these are odd names. They worship at a temple. Here's a little video. Make sure that you watch that. It is by Harvard. It is a good video that goes beyond what I can do. And I feel like it's a pretty good video for students to watch. All right, the history behind Hinduism. Evidence at Harappa, which is a place in India, dated to 2200 BCE, before Common Era. This is before the death of, or after death, or Anno Domini. So this was a long time ago. It suggests that Hinduism may go far as back as the late Neolithic time period. And if you don't know what the Neolithic time period is, what I suggest you do is open up a tab and Google search that, baby. The Hindu religion comes from the Aryan religion called Vedism. This is recorded by the Rig Veda. Over here is a picture of the Rig Veda. This isn't a book that was brought to India with the Aryans. This book has hymns. And if you don't know what a hymn is, that's like a song that you would sing at church. Like in some churches, you might have a hymn book or a hymnal. The Rig Veda had hymns and legends, and it was written in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is new. So down here you can see in this box, it's an example of Sanskrit. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is, who are the Aryans? All right. Traditionally, India was made up of people who looked very similar. They had very similar skin tones. They had similar hair colors, similar eyes. So they all looked really very similar. Somewhere around 1500 BC, there was a group of people with fair hair, which meant light color hair, and fair skin, light skin. And these people they came through northern India. There was a pass in the Himalaya mountains that someone had found. It was an easier way to get into India. And it took a long time because, remember, the Himalaya mountains were impassable in ancient times. Nobody had found a way to get over them to India. But as the Aryans traveled in their small tribes, they were led by a prince or a raja. The Aryans thought as themselves as better than the people who already lived in India. So they came in, they're like, we look different. That must mean that we are better. This is the origins of racism. Racism is an issue in our world today, not just in our country, but in the whole entire world. And this is kind of like the origins. Like, you had the Aryans who came into India. They were like, okay, we look different than you. That must mean that we're better than you, that we're superior. That's what the Aryans believed. They thought of themselves as better than the people who already lived there. They brought with them a caste system. Now, caste system is probably something you are not familiar with, but I'm going to explain it. So they brought with them this caste system, which was a very strict social system, okay? It was like a rank. It was like a social rank. So, you have the people up here. These are your high rank people. And then it just goes lower and lower and lower. And then at the bottom, you have your untouchables, okay? These are people who, they collected trash all day. And we'll get to that next. The Aryans didn't just bring their own culture. Remember the aspects of culture. We have language, religion, the food that they eat, art. These are different things that are a part of culture. They didn't just bring their own culture, but they brought technology with them, okay? They didn't bring gadgets or iPads or cell phones or anything like that, but they brought some tech like the iron plow from Mesopotamia. And they also brought language called Sanskrit. This would become the language of India. They would go on to record their history with this language. And this is down here. It's an example of what it looks like. Sanskrit. So next, we're going to talk about the caste system. So the Aryans, we already know, they believed themselves to be better than the people of India who were a different color than they were. There were many more Indians than Aryans, and it could have been to keep the Aryans in control. The Aryans came in and they wanted to be the big dog and be in control. So, maybe that is why they brought this caste system and introduced it to the people of India. The caste system acted sort of like a law. Nobody was above their caste. So you were born into a caste. So whenever you were born, you were, placed into one of these categories where you could not change during your whole life. Like, you were stuck there. So if you were born as a Vaisyas, which is like a common person, a farmer, or a merchant, you were stuck there your whole entire life. Now, if you done good deeds in your life, then whenever you died and you came back, you were reincarnated and you would become a higher caste. But if you done bad things in your life, then after you die, you might be reborn as a Sudra if you had done some bad things, okay? This is what they believed. They believed in this caste system. I believe on your notes, you should have had the facts. Where does the Hindu religion come from? Who are the Aryans and what did they bring with them? And then you're going to fill in this chart. I have filled in some of these for you. You're welcome. So you have your Brahmin. These are your teachers and your priests. These are at the top of the caste system. Then you have your Kshatriyas. Okay. Secret. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I am not really, really good at pronouncing these, but I'm going to try. You have the Kshatriyas. These are your warriors and kings. Vaisyas. These are your common people, farmers or merchants. All right, merchants are people who made things and sold them. Sudras. These are your unskilled laborers. These are people these weren't an unskilled laborer is someone who just went and kind of done whatever job needed to be done. And then, or a servant. And then you have the pariah. These are your untouchables. These are lower than low. Okay, this is at the bottom of your caste. All right, next is the Brahmin. So all these people here, you see all these people, they look very different than you. Some of them have more limbs. Like this lady has, like, this must be Lakshmi, because Lakshmi, she is like the goddess of wealth and good fortune. She has extra limbs. Then you have this one, like, looks like an elephant. Okay, so these Brahmin, these are deities. Okay, these are the gods. This is what people who practice Hinduism worship. They look really fancy and all dolled up. Hinduism says that there is one universal spirit. However, there are millions of gods that are part of Brahman. According to the Upanishads, souls are like salt and Brahman is like water. All souls become part of Brahman. Let me go back to talk about the Aryans. And what reminded me of this little symbol, a lot of people think that looks like a swastika, and that might be where the neo-Nazis got the idea of the swastika, because so even Hitler talked about like we're going to move up in history some. And, I like to talk about this because this is where, since the Aryans, this is like the origins of racism, where racism came from. Hitler definitely, he thought the Aryans were a superior group of people. He thought that they were the superior race just because, they look different and all this stuff. And he actually wrote about it and talked about it. And, and this is, the Aryans are actually where Hitler got the ideas that like people with light skin and light hair were superior than others. So origins of racism, big deal. Those Aryans. All right, moving. And I like to add that because that way there's a connection there. Going on to major deities in Hinduism. Deities means like God, of the gods. So just like other religions, like it's kind of like a trinity here. You have the Trimurti. It's not called Trinity in Hinduism. It's the Trimurti. So you have the Shiva, which is the destroyer. The Vishnu is the maintainer or preserver. And then Brahma is the creator. So Brahman is made up of three different aspects: Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma. I don't expect you guys to remember this. I'll probably let you guys maybe use your notes or use your study guide on the quiz. This little girl, she was born, she had a birth defect. She had extra limbs. So many Hindus believe that she was the incarnation of the Hindu deity Lakshmi. She was even named Lakshmi. So the girl was worshipped as a god until her parents had the extra limbs surgically removed. And you can watch a video about Lakshmi here. I encourage you to watch it. All right, karma, dharma, and reincarnation. Karma, that is how a person acts in life, okay? Hint, you'll need to know these things, so make sure you write this down on your notes. Dharma, this is the divine law, the way people are expected to live. So comparing it to Christianity, so the divine law that I feel like the way that people are expected to live is the 10 Commandments. So maybe the Dharma is compared to the 10 Commandments. They're not the same, but that's the 10 Commandments in Christianity is the way that Christians are expected to live. And then in the Dharma in Hinduism, this is the divine law, like the law of the gods, that this is the way people who practice this religion are supposed to live. And then reincarnation. I know that a lot of you guys may have heard of this. Whenever you die and you come back and in another life as something else. This is reincarnation. It's a little bit different in Hinduism. This is the belief that you must live many lives to be part of Brahman. So they feel like that when you die, you come back, you're reincarnated as someone else, but you have to live many lives to become part of Brahman, which is the top of the caste. All right, let's make some connections. My name is Earl. Some of you guys may have watched this show. Some of you guys may not have. I've watched it before. It used to be more popular than it is now. It's about a guy who thinks that his bad actions, which is the karma, karma is like the bad things or how you act in life, has ruined his life, and he must atone for it by doing good deeds. So I'm sure that he, has some struggles trying to do these good deeds. Sometimes, and I know that some some of us may have seen people around that have a little dot on their foreheads. This is called a bindi. And you notice that Brahmins or teachers or priests with a red dot on their head, okay? This indicates a higher level of knowledge. It sometimes is used to represent marriage, but many times now it is used just simply as a fashion statement. All right. So here is what you have for Hinduism. These are your notes. They are short and simple. If you have any questions, send me an email. I'll be glad to answer it. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful day.